Hi everybody, my name's Tom and I'm the Head of Philosophy at Godalming College. Thank you for your interest in studying philosophy here at Godalming, and hopefully this video will answer many of your questions. Do feel free to get in touch with me here at the email address below if you have any further queries. So let's start with the first question. What is philosophy? Now the word philosophy comes from the ancient Greeks and it literally means love of wisdom. So a philosopher is someone who is trying to become more wise. Someone who is wise seeks to have good judgment and aims to get a good handle on what is true and what isn't. So philosophers, in the broadest sense of the term, try to discover what is true and what is good. So a philosopher might ask questions such as, how should I treat others? That is a question about what it means to be good. Or they might ask, how do I know that my senses accurately show me what the world is like? That's a question about truth. Some of you may have toyed with questions like this before. You may have even discussed them in some of those lessons at school I mentioned earlier. You might have sat in a circle and everyone gives their opinion and no one is wrong. This is where what we do has an important difference to what you might have encountered before. Philosophy is not just about giving your opinions. In fact, it's not really about giving an opinion at all. If we were happy for anyone to express their opinion without backing it up, we wouldn't get any closer to truth and we wouldn't be getting any wiser. So once the philosopher has chosen the question to explore, their greatest tool is the argument. They read what other philosophers have had to say on the matter, they discuss it with others, and they put forward the conclusion that they have reached on the basis of a carefully presented argument. We will ask big questions about morality, about knowledge, about existence, and we're not going to be just asking for your unconsidered opinion. We want you to carefully examine what great thinkers in history have said on the matter and then back up your conclusion with sound reasoning. It's why I study philosophy. So we live in an age where information is instantly accessible. The benefits here are obvious, but there are problems. Not all of that information out there is reliable. Not all positions that people hold are reasonable. Now, we said that philosophy is about love of wisdom, which means philosophers try and work out what is true and what is good. And then their method was to use an argument to support that position. This means that philosophy is the subject that will teach you to think critically, to carefully interrogate articles and social media posts, to find the flaws and the strengths in someone's reasoning. It will teach you not to take things at face value. And in the time of fake news, this really couldn't be more important. Secondly, it will enhance any study program at college. For any academic discipline that you can think of, there is a philosophy of it. Now, I also teach in the maths department. The philosophy of maths would involve questions about infinity. What is a number? Was maths discovered, or was it a human creation? On the other end of the spectrum, the artist might ask questions like, what is beauty? Why is a perfect forgery less value than an original painting? Philosophy goes well with sciences. Philosophy and science were once kind of one of the same thing. It goes well with computing. I mean, could a computer ever think like a human? Might be a question that we might explore, as well as other areas you might more traditionally expect to be linked with philosophy, other humanities like politics, economics, English, history. Finally, why study it? Well, because it's interesting, because you'll enjoy it. We get under the skin of big questions. We study some of the most renowned thinkers in history. It is hard work. It's demanding, but that's what our students love about it. If you want to be treated like an adult, if you want to explore some challenging topics, then this is the subject for you. So, what specifically is on the course? The course is entirely exam-based. At the end of the 2 years, you will sit 2 papers, each paper split into 2 topics. So on paper 1, the first subject is epistemology. Epistemology is the study of knowledge. The question of what do we know might seem a simple one. You probably would say you know you're watching this video, but are you? Could you be dreaming? Even more worrying, could this all be a giant computer simulation? René Descartes famously explored versions of these issues. Will you be convinced by his answer? The second subject in the first paper is moral philosophy. Here we look at ethical theories and discuss if any of them can provide us with satisfactory answers to the question of how we should act and how we should live well. We will apply these theories to specific issues such as stealing, eating animals, and even enjoying violent films or video games. The second paper as a whole focuses on metaphysics. This is the branch of philosophy which historically looks at existence or being. So the first area is the metaphysics of God. So we will look at attempts to prove or disprove the existence of God. The final topic is the metaphysics of mind. Is the mind the same thing as the brain? What exactly is consciousness and how did it come about? Throughout the whole course, we will investigate what Western thinkers have had to say on all of these topics, and we'll go right back to the ancient Greeks, like Plato and Aristotle, and we'll carry on all the way through to philosophers that are still working, such as Patricia Churchland, Peter Singer, and Dan Dennett. So what is the department like? There are three of us that teach in the department, myself, and then there are also Rob and Ollie pictured to my side, and all three of us have a significant background in philosophy, at least master's level. We've all taught at Godalming for a number of years. You'll get to know us really well, which is the great thing about being part of a smaller department. We're really supportive. All three of us take a huge amount of care and time into explaining these challenging concepts clearly and making the lessons interactive and enjoyable. And we will also run lunchtime workshops for when you need a bit more time to discuss and digest some of those thornier issues. We have recently offered opportunities to visit Cambridge and Southampton universities, and in the second year, you may want to do an extended project qualification, which we can support you with. We've also been able to offer mock interviews for those students applying to Oxbridge, and most years we have one or two students taking up places to study philosophy at those universities. There are always several students who enjoy philosophy so much that they go on to study it as a degree. So this takes us to our final question of where can philosophy lead? So as mentioned, there are always students that go on to study philosophy at university from our course. The great thing about philosophy, as previously said, was that it combines with most subjects at A level. This is also the case at degree level. Philosophy, politics and economics is a highly regarded degree, but you may also want to do it alongside maths, English, a foreign language, film studies, so many options. Now, even if you decide that you're looking towards another degree, philosophy A level will be of huge value to you when you apply to those other degrees. We discussed the critical thinking and analytic skills you develop. Well, those skills are essential for any degree. We find that students who are going to study things like, say, medicine or engineering find philosophy incredibly useful in demonstrating their ability to think clearly and logically, and it sets them apart from students who solely focus on, say, the sciences. And these same skills are looked for by employers. People with the ability to see their way clearly through a problem are clearly invaluable in any business. Now, philosophy is not tied to any profession or degree. The real beauty of it is that you will have options, and you will find people who have studied philosophy that are valued and found in almost any industry. So philosophy, in short, can take you anywhere. So I hope you found this useful. Please do get in touch, as I said, if you have any questions. In the meantime, look on the philosophy course page for some activities that you can do, which will give you more of an insight into the subject, and get reading. Thanks so much for watching, and we look forward to meeting you in the autumn.